I'll introduce Anaximenes in casual spoken English, keep it simple, easy to follow, and like a natural chat. Let me tell you about Anaximenes. He's one of the early ancient Greek philosophers, right? You might not hear his name as much as Plato or Aristotle, but he was a big deal for early Western thinking. First, when did he live? We don't have his exact birth or death years. Ancient records are spotty, but most people think he was around from roughly 585 to 528 BC. That's over 2,500 years ago, way before things like phones or even books as we know them. He was from Miletus, a city in what's now Turkey. Back then, it was part of the Greek world. He wasn't just a random thinker, he was part of the Milesian school, a group of philosophers in Miletus who tried to answer a huge question: what is everything in the world made of? Before them, people usually explained nature with gods or myths, but these guys wanted to use reason, not stories. Anaximenes studied with another famous Milesian philosopher, Anaximander, who was his teacher. He learned a lot from his teacher, but he had his own big idea too. His main thing: he thought all stuff in the universe comes from air, or air in Greek. Not the exact air we breathe, more like a basic, invisible substance that's everywhere. Here's how he thought it worked. This air changes form when it gets rarefied. That means it spreads out, like when you heat steam, or condense squeeze together, like when you press a sponge. For example, if air rarefies a lot, it becomes fire. If it condenses a little, it turns into wind, or condensation. Clouds, even more. Water. Keep squeezing. Earth, and the densest form, stones. He said that's how everything, mountains, animals, even humans, came to be. Pretty clever for his time, right? He also had ideas about the universe. He thought the earth was flat like a tabletop and that it's held up by air, kind of like a leaf floating on wind. The sun, moon, and stars, he said they're made of condensed air too, and they move because of the wind. Sadly, most of his writings are gone. We only have a few tiny bits left. But we know about his ideas from other ancient writers like Aristotle, who talked about him later. Why does he matter? Well, he helped push philosophy away from myths and toward using logic to explain nature. His idea that everything comes from one basic thing we call that monism influenced lots of later philosophers like Heraclitus, who talked about fire, and even Democritus, who thought everything is made of atoms. So to wrap it up, Anaximenes was an early Greek thinker, part of the first group to use reason for sciencey questions. Thought air was the root of all things and paved the way for future philosophy. Not bad for someone from 2,500 years ago. This intro keeps things conversational, no fancy terms, just clear, easy to talk about points. If you want to tweak parts like adding more details about his ideas or making it shorter, just let me know.